Good morning, everyone.
Oh, hello there!
Welcome to a Friday with Delenn. Oh, and the Twitter message is completely and utterly wrong. Sorry. Just noticed that that's not going to work. That's okay. We will quickly remove that and make a new one. What I did with it. All right. Delenn Russell is quickly delete this other one. Today, as you can see in front of me, we are, there we go. We are actually going to be working on, I can remember what I was going to say. We are actually going to be working on Lego. So, I have made a minor boo-boo, but that's all right. Give me one quick second to grab a quick drink of coffee, and I will be right back.
Hello?
That just need a coffee and have a quick message, and then we are back. All right. So, first things first. I need to figure out exactly what happened to all of my Lego stream because I hit the live button, not the Lego button. That would explain a lot. You can see we've got a box in front of us. We've got 345 pieces, so it might be a relatively short build, in which case we'll go back on top of the Hogwarts Carriage and Thestrals set, or we'll see what happens at the end of that, because I don't know how long this is going to take. So, first things first, of course, always have to open the box. And in this case, you can see I've still got the store sticker thing on it, which is on top of the thumb button. So, let's get into the box. I don't tend to keep the box once the builds are done, but I do. Of course, if it took longer than one session to build, then I would keep it for that period, and then I'll recycle it afterwards. All right. So it's only got three bags, and we've got a nearly one-piece buckbeak. Not too impressed with the one-piece-ness of it, but at least this one, its head goes up and down. So that's a good start. Set that off to the side for now. And we've got stickers that we're going to work with. That goes off to the side. 3 bags. Let's get rid of 2 and 3. I can stack them up in the corner and knock them off the desk later. Crinkle. All right. Then, of course, we've got the booklet, which you can see on the screen we won't need. I went and got the digital stuff. But let's see, this one has how many pages? Good morning, Benson, and good morning to you as well. Fantastic Sherlock Box. Glad to see you both. We've got 78 pages. And good morning, Mr. Swanky Potato.
Hello.
How are you doing today? Beat you, Benson, he says. All right. For those of you not doing much on a Friday, let's get started. So, since we've got the time, I'm going to go ahead and do all the sorting on camera as well. It's noisy, but definitely helps with the actual speed of the build. And I don't know if I'll be able to keep all of it on the mat. We'll just see how much space this takes. We'll also fiddle with the lighting as we go, just because sometimes it looks too bright and then other times it doesn't. So it's probably my lights on camera that are being the issue. All right, so we've got what appears to be Oh, maybe not. Here, it's supposed to be Hermione's work though. Not sure which camera would be better. That one maybe? Nope. There we go. It's all muddy. Like that one. You see, it's all Hermione's purse is all muddy. Kind of nice. Okay, so that triangles. There it is. This one's probably worth going up to. Can you see it this way? Maybe not. Come on, camera. Oh, there we go. Sort of. I was trying to show you the tile that we've got with the set. In this case, maybe this one will do it. Nope, doesn't like me. Okay, well, in any case, it's I think it's Lockhart. I'm not particularly sure. I'll have to go and check and see what that is. So Hermione apparently gets blue legs. Just because it happens to be what's sitting there. The box claims, where are we here? They're supposed to get Sirius, Harry, and Hermione. Run bag 1. Love it. Love it. Okay. Hair, of course, the face happens to be in the micro bag. Always do that to me. 4. Sometimes I don't sort, I think I mentioned this in the past, I don't always sort by color. Sometimes I sort by shape. I mean, in this case, you can do both, right? But if I've got multiple different things of different colors in the same shape, sometimes I will change that up and just sort by the shape. And that actually makes it a lot easier for me to find the colors. I didn't always do that, so a desk choke box would probably think to himself, what do you mean? But no, I didn't always do it that way. I just recently started doing that, and it just allows things to pop a little bit more. So that when I'm looking at multiple different colors of the same piece in the same bin, then it's easier for me to find the piece I'm looking for. Good morning, Stormy Owl. How are you today?
Hello.
Ooh, welcome on in. Welcome on in. Yeah, Dylan, I had originally said I was going to start around noon Eastern, and I don't know if it's Friday the 13th or if it was just the headspace issues from yesterday or what it was, but yeah, that just was not happening. Trying to see. Good. If anything seems too dark, let me know and I'll lighten it up, but the exposure on this camera goes a little crazy pretty quickly. There. One, and I think we're just about there. This bag. Oh. Some pieces I'm just sort of getting distracted by because I like them. They remind me of house slippers. So, that bag. Little. So I'm expecting to get Hermione's head in this one. For now, I'll drop the trash on the floor and pick it up after because there's nobody else in this room but me. Leaves. Here we've got Hermione's head. Got sort of a freaked out face or a quizzical face, which once again don't show well on camera, but let's see what we can do. There we go, sort of baby. It was there for a second. Anyway, then she's got like a freaked out one on the back. I don't know why this one doesn't want to autofocus for me today, but that's okay. And we'll just pop her hair on. That's part 1 done. We have 2 golden frogs. 3, 4. I see 4 golden frogs. Ah, 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 ah. All right. Looks like we've got a custom, oh, not that one, yeah. Custom printed time turner and a spare. So I cannot, there we go. I cannot easily show you those on my hand because of the way it's going to black out. No, too light. I'm going to need, my kids and I call a fixer stixer for these ones. looking for ideas. Okay, there we go. Use this. This probably won't show too well. Nope, it's not gonna work either. Ah. Got spares. Okay, so we've got weird spot coming to the camera. Are you gonna focus? Kinda, sorta, maybe? No. My nails. Anyway, the intent was there. It's meant to be, yeah, bad lighting. It's meant to be a time turner, but sorry for the blurs. Oh, it didn't work. Okay. Wow, these pieces are tight. All right, a couple little foreign pieces setting off to the side. Messing with lyric. Yeah, messing with lyric's always fun. Siblings, but it never hurts to get someone else in the game. And it also underscores, for amusement's sake, to the streamer at least, that the first person wasn't really first. It was the third or fourth person that arrived who actually remembered to say they were first. I find it kind of funny. Sometimes I raid into streamers who've been up for 2 hours, and they have got people who suddenly decide to use the first thing as soon as they get in there. Window. Oh. What I am doing is actually just putting my preview up on my side screen, just because I have a bad habit of looking at it over and over and over again. So it's going to make me hopefully look at the camera a bit more. Alright. And the sort. I know there are people like Maribel J that put them all in little bowls, which works well if you're having to take them off of your desk because you've got other projects in between. But since we're not doing any other projects in between today, then I can just leave them all over the place. Alright. That will do. So we've got Hermione done and dusted. She's gone off to the side. As per usual, I will not be giving her the wand just because that's really dark. I will not be giving her the wand just because I tend to lose them. So we will on camera. Okay. Worried, but we'll go with that. Right. Because I'll just put that off in my box of wands. Okay, so first off, we've got ourselves a plate, and then just a little bit of silver stuff. Very, very true. Mikey Potato rejects Benson's evidence of being first in the same way that the guy I messaged, or who messaged me on YouTube, says, "You were streaming to no one for bingo on Tuesday." I laughed at him, and then he sent me another message after that, which I deleted because it was just dumb, but he goes, "That's no proof of anything," when I was saying that it was Benson's face superimposed over top of mine because your face thing had just popped up. Well, that's just kind of dumb. It's like, if you're going to argue about something and you don't want to be proven wrong, don't waste your effort. Don't waste your breath. Or you're typing. Alright. These are the ones that remind me of slippers. You can probably see how that would go. Put in there. And I need, never thought I would want cheater chat, but candy. There we go. I think I've got everything working now. Maybe, kind of, sort of. Oh, EMS. Wow. Ouch. Yeah, I can imagine. because the type of business you work in, that's one of those things that needs to be investigated in all sorts of ways to make sure that it was just a legit accident, which really stinks. Speaking of police, you actually had an incident from my kid's school yesterday. Basically, they've got a special program that they call it EES. I don't know what it stands for, but it's one of those extra help programs for kids who definitely look different. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Like, I mean, it's one of those, not a behavioral issue program, but all types of mental and physical learning delays, usually mental learning delays. And one of them apparently chose to pull a runner from class yesterday and was gone for over half an hour, and they had the cops out and they had the teachers scouring the neighborhood, and the kids were told to stay in class, so they couldn't switch them out for like whose turn it was to go outdoors for lunch and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a bit of a crazy mess. And as my son tells it a lot better, but he was talking about his class getting told to stay put in the classroom as his teacher ran outside sprinting out in front of the school to try and join the neighborhood part of the search with the teachers. They have they all take their little like Motorola radio walkie-talkie things and stuff, and they're walking the neighborhood and all kinds of that sort of thing, which was not ideal, as you can imagine, but it made for a really interesting story over dinner. Fantastic Sherlock Fox knows more of that than I do, but he's been on calls this morning, or I'd ask him to tell it. But yeah, so apparently as a teacher, my son's teacher goes sprinting, Guy, by the way, goes sprinting past the windows, the whole class cheered for him, which would just be funny to see and funny to hear. But yeah, so the kid was found safe and had just decided that he wanted to do something else, I guess, rather than be in class. And that's part of why most of the ES students at almost all times have what basically boils down to being a handler, which stinks, but I mean, it's a direct assistant and stuff because they need help with all kinds of things. And unfortunately, this one had just managed to slip off from their assistant, which was, upsetting for all concerned. And my daughter says her teacher came back in quite rattled. She had to do part of the neighborhood search in a more remote, but no, possibly one could say more ignored or somewhat secluded section of the neighborhood. And she came back. She's a fairly young teacher and fairly young to the program concept. She's not my daughter's not in a special program. It's just they have this program in their school, partly because they don't have enough students to fill it out in such a way that there isn't room for a program like that. And so I have no objections to it being there, but it rattled her teacher pretty good, which is not great. And the only thing I could think of that would rattle me in a similar type of situation would be if the teacher had concerns about how the student might act should she have encountered them on her own. But yeah, that didn't go well. So she had a bit of a mental break in the afternoon just to, I don't know if it's resettled or what it was, but had to calm herself down. Ew. Yeah, I can imagine, Stormy, that would be quite hard and complex to deal with. Not to mention messy. And then, of course, there's always the company debrief about safety measures available to mitigate, such as like was there anything slippery for him to slip on? Did they just like trip over their own feet, sweaty socks, all that jazz. We actually had that happen about a year or so ago at our scout meeting. It wasn't quite as messy as it sounds yours was, but the room that we meet in the church where we meet is a cement basement floor. And this is one of those ones where, in spite of instructions to the contrary, the youth did not bring indoor shoes and did not want to dry and wear their outdoor boots, which we generally discourage, having mud all over the place. So they were running around in their socks and had sweaty feet, were sliding around and slipped and fell and bonked their head on the cement floor, but of course it cracked open and it was bleeding all over the place. And yeah, that was a fun one to try and explain to the parents. I mean, the parents didn't end up getting mad in the end. They're like, yeah, my kid's an idiot and does stuff like that. But of course, the short-term version is dealing with all the mess and the fallout. And and our group commissioner got interviewed over it and stuff like that. It was not a pretty picture. And then, of course, they had to make a report because it wasn't part, like, under the police and stuff like that, because the kid got injured in someone else's care, and I didn't look at that properly. So I do not envy you in the slightest. I do not envy you in the slightest. And that's a stupid thing for me to say. I'll repeat that it was extremely stupid for me to say that. But that said, it's the only thing I can use as a reference point to have a connection, I guess, to more understand what you had to deal with. So, the word is I obviously did something wrong when... there we go. I'm trying to figure out how I was going to get those frogs mounted. Working from the outside in, not realizing that I had to build the mount points first. So we've got a flat tile with a single stud on it. And then just fits in these gaps to put the frogs on. Well, let's hope, being as you're able to be here for now, Stormy, that things can start calming down and hopefully getting back to some semblance of less weird for your Friday the 13th. I mean, let's also hope that we can blame it on Friday the 13th and that tomorrow is, as they say in Anne of Green Gables in the book, tomorrow is a fresh day with no mistakes in it. Oops. And that's a not quite accurate quote, because I didn't remember it perfectly, but you get the idea. And I'm dealing with a different face cam today. That's part of why my behavior's a little bit different. I was just doing a test run yesterday, and the face cam I usually use for Minecraft is sitting on top of my monitor, which is all well and good. But when I'm doing Lego, it was showing far too much top of my head. No, I can't say this is an improvement, but it would have been even worse if I was using the other face cam. Okay, so far so good. Alright, now E. What is E? Oh, top edge. Does anybody have any big hopes or plans for their weekend? We don't have a whole lot on our docket at the moment. We've got soccer on Saturday. But other than that, I've got meeting on Sunday, as usual. We're starting to hit, I shouldn't say starting to hit, we're still, for 2023, we're starting to hit the something going on basically every evening of the week. And the majority of them are mine. One of those, like, Sunday I've got a meeting, like this Sunday I've got a meeting, and then Monday is Cubs, and then Tuesday I stream, Wednesday I stream, Thursday is Scouts. I guess Friday night's, well, I was gonna say Friday night's off-ish, except that I mod for Carnage Joe, which is great, I love it, but it just means there's something on, and then Saturday is soccer, and then we're back to Sunday, which thankfully the following week I don't have a meeting. Alright, so we've got this one, some decoration, one of our Specky Vine things, in facing upwards. And leaf kind of going down. I think, yeah, that's reasonable. There we go. And then some lighting. Okay. I'm just going to swipe, get a space. Okay. Hello, and then I keep saying a gray one. Doesn't look right. I think it's a black one. That sits on top. Post. Wow. Alright, I hope those two incidents are not related, Stormy. And good luck keeping your own head safe, I guess. Wow. Yeah, that would be a tough one to explain. And then, of course, with your own, as a boss, with your own head hurting, and then suddenly, you have, you're sort of on call because of a weird incident with one of your houses, I would not want to be in anybody's position for that sort of stuff. And then 19 has one of the green bits. Cross it. That's right. I have very little idea what my bot is doing at the moment. Ah, okay, there we go. As I said that, the bot pops up to comment. Lovely. All right, so I'll just set this piece aside, and we're going to work on another one of these panels. It looks like we're starting at the same spot, except we're going the other direction this time. And more of the slippers. Sorry, I'm still getting off that stupid cold. I don't know what it was, but I've had this thing for like almost a month and a half, maybe. Definitely at least a month. And I'm tired of it. It can leave now. It can leave now. I was mentioning yesterday that not like I really should be singing on stream, but sometimes it's nice just to be able to cope with something when it occurs to me. But that said, I really don't like sounding worse than a frog, so it's just not going to happen. I see. Okay. I was trying to figure out why it wasn't an exact copy of the previous instruction, and the last one, instead of having the stud on top, had it underneath, which gives some nice variety. The build's just little things that are different in each section of it. Okay. Bench seat in, or whatever this thing is going to be. It's funny, sometimes I think the Friday the 13th just superstition is just that. I mean, beliefs aren't necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes the superstitions that people have, I sometimes wonder if superstitions themselves are part of the cause for the problems. People say Friday the 13th is bad, always has bad things happen, always bad, you know. And yet, when you look at it on the face of it, did it happen because it's Friday the 13th, or did it happen because we were, wound up with anxiety, half expecting something to happen on Friday the 13th, which therefore made it become, in a way, a self-fulfilling prophecy that something was going to happen. It's sort of like we made it happen because we half expected it. And I mean, in often cases, stuff sometimes just goes wrong. But I really do think that it's not the 13th or anything like that. I'd love to know the full origin of where people's freak out of that came. Oh, sorry, camera location has moved. Give me a second. Volume on. Let's try that. Is that any better? Well, the mic changed in. I can move it. That's about it. Odd. I wonder why it's doing that. Okay, so I think it has to do with where the mic position reaches to while trying to stay out of the corner of the camera. You can start to see a little bit of it right up in this top corner. So if I get it too much closer, it's going to be in the camera. Unless I try and go to the side a bit more, maybe? That's not helping much. Okay, let's see. Can I cross the other way? Nope. Okay, the only other thing I can think of is my filters. Oh, make it up a little bit more. Yep, no, that's fine. I can turn the music down again. That's also a possibility too. Somebody had said yesterday the tunes were a little bit too quiet, so I turned it up and then didn't think to put it back down. Let's take this one out a little bit and see if that helps at all. Okay. Well, let me know if it's still a problem. I can crank that up a little bit further. Better? Okay. Yeah, so I went into the thing that takes loud or soft sounds and cranks them up, and then I also dropped the volume of the music a bit. Drop the music just a little bit more. It's topping out a little higher than I like. There, that should be a bit better. Where am I? I am on step 28. Okay. Thank you for giving me that tip, because, you know, I don't want to be one of those people where you crank up the volume on your individual stream, like when you're there on your end sort of thing, and then you go to some other stream and it like knocks your socks off because they figured out the audio more effectively. It happens. Lots. I just don't like being that person, if you know what I mean. Because Twitch is not all that bright in terms of giving, like, they don't actually give users an equalizer to work with, a volume equalizer in any way to compensate. Or the other thing that they could look at, which they don't, is giving people what's basically an automatic volume limiter. We used to get those on headphones as kids, right? I mean, as in when we were kids, not necessarily. They do have some headphones for kids that have that in there, but truthfully, it's so easy to turn off. But where I was going with that was to say that was a common thing, or you could have a switch on your CD player or whatever that allowed you to have a volume limiter. And that meant that, you know, when you switch between tracks on like a mixtape or a mixed CD you'd made, that you wouldn't end up having your ears blown out by the next song. That was the theory anyways. But sometimes you could tell when somebody hadn't realized or hadn't set that setting. And I can understand why they wouldn't, because it often would take volume sort of off the top in such a way that the next song wouldn't just sound quiet, it would actually sound sort of muddled. Alrighty. And 2. These are the frog mounts from before. Not quite sure why they have frogs looking up, but okay. I mean, golden frogs are cute. Just mount them on the back side here. We're on 33, okay. And put the pieces on. Yay! Put the pieces on. Isn't that what a whole kit is about? One of the things I was looking at this morning was trying to decide which category to put these in. I mean, it's a quiet enough stream that I ended up going with makers and crafting, simply because I'm sort of making or building a kit. But it's not truly crafting in my mind, or truly making in my mind. On the other hand, the conversation's quiet enough that it really didn't seem to fit to be a just chatting stream. I mean, I can ramble on for hours. That's not necessarily chatting. To me, having a chat is a two-way thing that has some feedback every once in a while. Even if it's just reacting to something on the side that happens. Okay, let's put the flowers on. I'm going to bet on a green piece on the side. Oh, they want it on this right-hand side anyway. Okay. Interesting. And then down 36, and they don't have a green one that goes over top. All right. Nice to have something a little different. And then we put the light back on again. Well, I guess it can't be back on if you've never taken it off. Okay. does go there, just give it a different timing. Explain it. And then we've got the holes for connecting the chunks together. And then let's see. Turn it around. Oh, I see. Put the hooky stem thing up and off to the side. And the last leaf. Wow, I've got ugly fingernails this morning. Yuck. Sorry, guys. Huzzah! Okay. And you challenge. There we go. So, huzzah! Part 1. For whatever that's worth. Okay, and then we have a few extra bits, which always just go off to the side. And I guess I was supposed to put a time turner on Hermione's hand, so I'll just do that. There we go. All right. Then what's it say? Bag 2. I'm just, once again, tossing bits on the floor and giving it a good sort. Feels good. This is going to be fun. Got the wings. Okay. A couple more base pieces. Work with. Doorways. So put the big stuff out of the way. Ooh, we got stairs. Nice. The stair pieces are kind of cool because they snap into one another, then they rotate. I don't think they've used that design. Maybe they used it this year. I can't remember another kit in the last year where they've used those floor pieces, but I know they did in the previous year when they were working on, when they gave you the sort of the Great Hall that was kind of your one and done style kit, and the previous year they hadn't done a what's the word? Like a basement for the second book. They gave you a basilisk, but it was just a big snake. Like it's just a snake model, and it wasn't that cool. It was, okay, but it wasn't great, story-wise. But it was one of those ones where I build and collect because I like the story part of it. I haven't gone for the must-have everything, which means that some of the pieces I've actually just skipped the sets for. So, for example, at the moment, I don't have the second one. My brain's drawing a blank, but anyways, I don't have that set, and I definitely did not buy the great big Hogwarts set, and I'm not going to. Nor have I taken these pieces apart, like these sections apart, to be able to modularize them into a full-on castle. It's just never been one of those things that has really appealed to me. However, I have rearranged the one, like within a set, I have rearranged them. There we go. And Harry's usual freaked out head. Alright. Little bag. Our kids have just arrived home, so there's maybe some thumping and bumping you guys might be able to hear. Or at least one of our kids. I haven't checked the cameras themselves to see, but I can hear the door is gone and such. I've got my notifications silenced, so I'm not seeing anything on my phone or my watch right now. Come on. Oh, lots of little connectors this time. Harry's wand off to the side. There's the cream squares. Alrighty. Ooh, the little flower things going on. Haha. And the ubiquitous must be everywhere chicken leg. And it looks like my face cam took a vacation. Don't know why that is. Yeah, it took a vacation. I don't know. Well, we may be face camless. Okay. it is what it is, I suppose. Because I can still see it in my preview, so sorry about that. I don't know. Tech loves me these days, particularly cameras. Sarcasm intended. And it's also like any joke, if you have to explain it, it's not worth having made it. Having one of those things where it's like, you've got a pile for that, where'd you put it? Pyramids, fantastic. Alright. Okay, we're out of there. So, first I want us to start with Harry. We've got Harry's torso, which his too is lovely and muddy. Oop. Which I just dropped on the floor. What? Okay. His torso is all muddy as well. It's really hard to show because the lighting is being dumb. This one. I'll twist. This one, because if I'm not worrying about a face cam, then I don't have to care if I'm underlit. And then he's just got standard little brown legs. With his usual head where he's either freaked out on one side or kind of just semi-unimpressed on the other side. Sort of, kind of, go. And then you go on the other side. He's got a sort of freaked out look. Alrighty, Roo. Okay, and then the tile in this bag. Once again, you can never really recognize them. The whole cam, maybe? No. I'll try and post it. Ooh, did it? And I'll try and post a picture, but didn't come out very clearly. Alright, so next step after Harry is we're going to play with Buckbeak. And give him his saddle. Or like his sitting area, I suppose. This one. And then 1 and 2. And the seating spot. Character. Okay, this way. There's our silver wing Buckbeak. Yay. I like the posable wings to go with the posable head. It would look kind of ridiculous to have gray wings, unless, they do have the beak all gray, which helps a lot. Buckbeak goes off to the side. Alright, into the construction. This one, putting on a barrel. It's a very overhead cam. Sometimes I sort of wish I had an over the shoulder, but I wasn't able to get that angle reasonably well without such a mess in the desk. I might take a quick break later on and just give that a quick tweak, see if I can get the face cam back, but it's not critical. We'll just see how long the build goes, because I think this is actually going to rocket really fast. In which case we may end up launching into something completely unexpected, even for me. On this side. There. And then they want us to put the chicken on it. I'm assuming that's a meal for Buckbeak. At least I'm hoping. That goes off to the side as well. Back to our main section. And they want us to start by putting the 2 connector pins on. And then we build the panels. I just saw the Twitter social pop up, which reminds me that I'm in, you'll see at some point, possibly a pop up for a brand spanking new Discord. I'm still in the process of working out all the bugs, but it exists. It's there, which it makes a half decent spot for people to post feedback or to further comment on something that was discussed on stream, or even bring up something new that wasn't discussed on stream. But that's it's a slowly evolving thing. It's one of those, everybody and their dog has one, and those of us that stay small, sometimes we recognize that people want to get in touch with us when we're not actually live. Other times, it's a ghost town, and I'm totally cool with that. But somebody told me that I was being arrogant by thinking that I could even have a viable stream without having a Discord. So I just said, they're free, you know. They're not quite set and forget, but it's not something I have to manage day in and day out all the time. So it's one of those things where it becomes no skin off my neck. Besides the fact that I could use the practice, because I've been asked whether or not I want to be later in the year, whatever that means, whether I want to be one of the admins or moderators for our Scout Discord, which I'm kind of not exactly thrilled exists. So I should probably at least practice figuring out how some of the behind the scenes stuff works. I have not posted the link on the About page of Twitch yet or Discord. I have not mentioned it in Twitter yet either. So I'll probably throw it up later. It's !Discord, but as I say, if it floats by, it floats by, because I only set it up yesterday, so there's probably still a lot of stuff that's riskily open. The expectation is not going to be not safe for work kind of thing, or not kid friendly, but until I figure out how to lock it down, it's going to be a manual business. So yeah, that's another one of those ones where learning comes in. Did I? Oh, I did forget. Okay. I forgot to put little pyramid-shaped pieces on the top of this one. There we go. Problem solved. When I get talking, I get distracted, and even though it's right in front of my face, I go, I think I know what I'm doing, and I skip a step, which is kind of dumb. There we go. And as expected, it goes on the other side. There we are. Now we're building a center chunk, I think. Well, it's all squares and stuff. Back here. I've been shedding everywhere, so there's like blonde hairs all over my desk, which of course does not look good on black. So we're completely overhead. I'm just going to grab a quick coffee sip and I should be right back. Alrighty, so let's see if that's going to help at all. See if my coffee sip makes me feel any better. Next step. Boop. There we go. Something a little more 3D to work with. Ooh, I guess I got these ones all twisted. They look weird. There we go. Now what do we do with 1, 2, 3, and 4? Okay. Why am I being... Dylan, stop being Lego challenged. Like, really? I'm getting dumb. There we are. Okay. Offset. Perfect. There we are. And then we just repeat the mounts on the top. Start with the one that actually has a side to lean on. There. That will help place everything else. I attempted to give the camera a bit of a different angle. See if that will help. It's not great, but I get too much further out for an angle. It's actually going to be almost behind my head, so I'll start leaning like right into the camera. Ew, that's gross. So I have yet to see how, or figure out quite how the professionals do it, meaning the ones that have great big channels that do Lego builds from scratch or great big master kits all day long. I'm probably betting they've got different camera controls and stuff. I mean, this is just one of those, one-offs when I feel like it. So, but I would love to hear more about that. So, I mean, if anybody knows anybody that they suggest I check out, I will definitely take a look at that. Or even, I'll probably even poke my nose around and see what other makers and crafting people use. Okay, so they want one of the pin pegs with brown. Color. And another one of these. Funny thing about doing these kits is one would think that over time we'd end up with a whole lot of spare pieces in case I'd say dropped one of the gray things on the floor. But I had this fear that I'm going to drop something on the floor and then run over it with my chair. But over time, that doesn't actually happen. I mean, there's often little bits, like the time turner will get spare, or I'll get a spare, the odd, little gray pins that hold everything in. I might get a spare one of those, but we don't end up getting much in the way of spares of the bigger pieces. And yet, because some of these colors aren't really used in general kits, you won't find them by just buying one of the big create your whatever you want boxes. Minecraft did that, actually. They did have that for Minecraft, where you could build more or less whatever you wanted from one of the Minecraft sets. They did come up with a couple different boxes for that, but not for the Harry Potter theme. It would be something I would like to see, anyways. Wow, that's chill music. Very, very chill. There's times when I watch somebody late in the evening and they will just use, popular music that we've all heard on the radio and such, and don't care, it seems, whether or not they get in trouble for it. But they also are the groups that never ever upload their VODs. And it's, I don't know, I do it for just being able to store it, so I don't have to store it local on my computer. That also means that if I'm not recording at the same time as I'm streaming, then it's not my problem to record it. Right? It becomes Twitch's problem. But that said, sometimes I wish we could get away with a lot more of the licensed music. And as they say, if wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. So it's never going to happen because I don't mind being cheap and not paying for a service that pays those rights. Because while artists deserve to get paid, the problem is that in between, there's always the labels and the execs, and they're the ones taking home a regular scheduled paycheck, and not much of it filters down to the actual artists anyways. And the artists that do have a system where they get paid better tend to be with setups that unfortunately are not going to make them, Billboard Top 100 kind of people. with tours and the whole 9 yards. Okay, so we're on to the floor section. That's why you never hear music here or very, very rarely hear music here that will ever sound like it's one of the copyrighted Billboard, popular kinds of things in any genre, unless I manage to do it myself, which is unlikely. You're not going to hear quality cover tunes from me. I'm actually looking forward to getting rid of this cold just so that I can get back to enjoying things like messing around on a karaoke website or pulling my acoustic guitar out of dusty storage and getting it all tuned up just to sing some, 60s tunes or something for my own pleasure. That's the kind of thing I was into, and the kids put up with it, but they go, "Mom, your music is either awful or old," or they just ignore it. They're just like, it's a mom thing. Oh, stairs. Okay, great. So the first one has to get lined up to fit on this peg over here, and the rest just stack on top. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. When the other set had come out, I think it was 2018 with the castle. When that set had come out, that had the stairs in it, there were reports that some people would end up with 1 to 2 stairs missing out of their package. So I'm really glad that didn't happen in this one. I like that spinning effect. Pretty neat. Okay. Of course, you need a cap. You always need a cap or something like that. Which we then pin in so that it's straight. Come on. Oddly, it snapped on at a point where the piece of Lego was not straight. And these two are not straight either. There. I'm not exactly OCD per se, but sometimes when Lego lines just don't match up, it feels really weird. They seem off kilter. So then the stairs can rotate out. And I clearly have them too loose somehow. They're supposed to be stuck together so they can't gap. So I'm going to try and see if I can get them to line up and try it again, sort of thing. This way. Line up, guys. Push that down. There we go, much better. And then that part. And then, okay, then that part snaps onto the side of this. If Dylan can get it not to fall apart, the way I was doing the other day with the Vestal carriage. Alright. Bag 3 with Sirius himself. So I missed putting on the roof wedges. See, I told you, if I get distracted, I missed putting on something, and I got distracted while explaining the thing I'd missed on the previous step. It's one of those things where you look at your spare bits and you go, how come I have too many of them? Too many spare bits. It looks like I got a spare tree stem this time. That's fine. I can handle that. Alright, set this one aside. Bag 3. This has taken us just over an hour so far, which means I can either continue the short thing after this or move into a long one. So we'll just see where the mood's at. There we go. Okay. Sort fast. The little tiles. Sirius is 8. I like that one. The jail door. I'll take a hopefully somewhat closer look at Sirius himself as soon as I can get the pieces sorted. One of the things I've learned about the releases of the Harry Potter sets is that when they sort of started over, they changed the roof color. So in the 2018 to about 2020-ish period, the Lego company released the first set of towers that all had gray roof pieces that are like somewhat this color, right? Whereas when they re-released the sets, all the roof pieces come out like this sort of color. It's now for those of you that may not be able to see it, there is contrast. So this one would be the gray, and then this is sort of like a green of sorts. It may sound obvious to some of you, but I do know that there's at least one person in stream who's colorblind. So they may or may not be able to see that. I don't know. But in any case, so I had learned from that then that sort of that method is in essence an indicator that they're starting a series over again if they seem to come out of band with something that's got a completely different color. As far as I've heard, there's no intention to quote-unquote start over again. But I will be honest, in spite of having heard of the new releases for 2023, having watched a video on it, it didn't stick in my head. So I cannot recall what some of the major plans were for 2023, although the somewhat modular chunks that we're working on in this set, that the way they snap together and stuff, that concept is still on the books for 2023 for any Harry Potter releases. I know they were supposed to be continuing on in essence with, I believe, the same sort of coloring scheme that they've got going now with the green roof. So I don't know how detailed they're going to get before they decide that series is complete. It's kind of funny though, because I was looking back at some of the previous releases of sets we have now. For example, they've got a Dumbledore's Office that we just did last year, and that kit, they had one called Dumbledore's Office released in 2001, I believe, and by comparison, it was very, I wouldn't say kid-friendly, but more kid-oriented in terms of the lack of detail, some of the uber bright colors that were chosen. So that really was a little disappointing. So let's just quickly assemble Sirius, as they suggest there. I'm going to assume he's got two faces. Yeah, he does. Okay, so they've got, do it before we get the hair, not the hand though. Okay, so we've got the, oh, camera lost, there we go. So we've got two different faces. We can block it out enough. And then he's got a grumpy freaked out one. And the camera just doesn't want to go. Okay. Block. Okay, nope. I'll just be stuck with that. But I do like the extra printing on his body. It's really quite nice. Right down to he's got like chest hairs and stuff. You can see bits of, I shouldn't say chest hairs. He's got bits of the tattoos showing. And I love the way his outfit's all ripped up. Which is really quite nice. Great detail. One could argue the hair looks sort of feminine, but I mean that's just because Lego doesn't do long hair for guys all that frequently. Other than maybe something like Hagrid, which is sort of all over the place and super duper messy. This one I would say is probably a little bit too not messy for my taste for the character, given the position he was in at the time. But that said, he definitely could have used a comb, even as it stands. Okay, I did not sort the side bit, which is causing me a bit of a headache. Get that out of the way really quickly. Two, three, four. A bunch of those little ones again. This and a couple more of the clip type. 4. Okay, I've got enough of a spread. I can at least see what's going on over here, which is the big key. Was Was I supposed to put shackles? Nope, not yet. Okay. They've also given us a set of shackles for probably Sirius, is my assumption. And we have a spare. He's definitely not going to need 2 sets. It looks like we have pieces for a rotating base, so we'll get there. Alright, close enough. Okay, so first off, got that one. Add one that's like a brick on the outside, and just a flat line on the inside, and ask us to attach it to one of these panels. Sticker time! Yay! One of my favorite parts. Alright. I'm just going to let my big fat fingers do it because it's a very large surface we're putting it onto. So we're just adding some leaves to the outside of this one. That's actually not that bad for first try. Yeah, I'll be good with that. Okay. And then we have a Hogwarts logo that goes upper center on the inside. And it's just a Hogwarts shield logo. So we've got leaves on the back. And then we've got the Hogwarts logo on the inside. This goes onto the curvy base that we've got so far. I would actually put it down. Maybe that would help. One. That doesn't seem right. I have done something weird. Oh, that's why. I missed a spot. Actually, you pay attention. There we go. That's going to fit a lot better. Alright. And this one. I've got enough out of the way. I can move some pieces and build myself a space to work. There we go. Oops. No, I didn't. Okay, so what do we do? This piece. And then a flat one here. Sorry, I'm getting quiet again. It's not your fault, it's mine. I was getting into things and distracted. Okay, and reverse curve. Goes that way. Put the dome thing on it. "76 steps in. 76 trombones at the big parade." Actually, that came out not too bad. Yay for Disney films. That was not actually a Disney film, but sometimes I think that they're the ones that own it now. Actually, it might have been a Disney film now that I think about it. Okay, and a feather. Which goes tipped to the top. Whatever use that is. And then we have ourselves a gold candle. Or a flaming candle. Oops. Alright, then where does this piece go? It needs legs, apparently, on one end. Semi-rotatable piece, it looks like. So what they're actually doing is they take this base, and they have this thing on top, so it looks like it can rotate where you like it, I guess. It's an odd way of putting that in there. Oh, I see. Okay. I get it. So they're doing some funky stuff for Harry's broom. The newer sets are much more into the modular brooms than the old ones. Which means then that we have some funky builds for it to make it a little bit more like the broom would have looked. So it wasn't just like the where are we? I'll build this one and then I'll show you what I mean by being a little more modular. So we've got this broom that we've just got, and then from the one that we did yesterday, this is the older style that they've got where they just made a one-piece broom. And I'll do it on the back of the hand again because that seemed to work decently. Cover the cameras and stuff. But we've got a one-piece build. Then you can see with the newer ones, we've got a much more individual, like more customizable. So the first one would have been in essence the same thing as the second broom in the terms of the story. But you can see the second set is quite nice to be a little bit more customizable to the character. That the way they add extra pieces is really the only new bit is the bristles at the end. Because they've had a lot of the other ones. I mean, they've got the foot pieces are made out of handcuffs from Lego City sets. So yeah, it's a nice addition. I like that. Now I see where this twist piece is going to hold the broom. Right. We have a couple of window things popping on the ends. For those of you that are in closer to the mountain time, if you haven't had lunch already, it's nearly lunchtime. For those of you that are in more Eastern time zones than that, I hope your day has been great and that you're nearly done your workday and ready to start your weekend. Because it's been one of those weeks where everybody deserves it. Everybody's had a week. It's not always necessarily a bad week, but I've heard some stories in the community, in our online community, that have implied that it's been a little more odd than normal. Everything from training sessions for people through to strange requests from customers, through to injuries, through to just poor weather, bad driving. You can't win them all, but my oh my, 2023 is not starting out great for everybody, and I really do hope that people's weeks start looking up from here. Second one. The thing I have to remember when I shift my camera around is just that it's not always going to be in the same spot for me to do stuff. Like, I'm holding things up close and you're not going to see anything, right? So I have to remember where I've got pieces. Or not pieces, pardon me, where I've got the angles. All right. Pardon me. What do we put on top here? Funny, sometimes I picture people in the Lego builds, in some of the Lego streams, when they're not finding the piece they're looking for, and we as a viewer see it. I think in my head, it's a lot like when some of us want to yell at the screen because we saw whatever the thing was a Minecraft player is looking for. It's in the chest. It's in the chest over by the whatever. It's in the top right corner. How can you not see it? And stuff like that. And I'm sure it happens with Lego people. I'm sure it happens with Lego people. Alright. 86 steps in. But I mean, hey, she's 86 steps in, but it's only been an hour and 15 minutes, which feels like I'm flying through this one, and I probably am. Because sometimes when I build things on my own, like as an off-camera, it takes a lot longer. Conversations come up with various different people. You stop for a lunch break, or you refresh your drink or whatever. Okay, there, that's the piece I'm looking for. And this one. kind of like how the tower is shaping up in terms of its design. And squaring that up is going to be fun. Hopefully there'll be other pieces soon. There we are. Pardon me. Itchy nose today. Side effect of taking so many cold meds is, of course, now that everything's all drying out, it's all itchy. Okay. 90. I feel like Count on Sesame Street. 90. 90 peanut butter sandwiches. No, that's not how it goes. 90. Pardon me? I remember when I was a kid, my dad actually had a better sense of humor than he does now. Not that that's saying much for those who know him. But when I was a kid, because he was a magician, some of his favorite characters to point out to me on Sesame Street would be things the magician character had said. I can't even remember what the magician character's name was anymore, but every once in a while, in his patter, he'd be using the term abracadabra, and I'd get sick and tired of it. So when we'd have a long run of shows at Christmas, every once in a while, he would switch it up for one of his routines and change it into a la peanut butter sandwiches, and made me laugh. But these are the sorts, okay, let me just pull this off again. These sorts of easily take apart modules are what this series in essence is all about. So you can rearrange things however you feel you want to. And that works well for wanting to build a bigger castle, because you never really have an official layout for the castle. I mean, that's the advantage to A, Wizarding World being fictional, and B, as we've seen with the Weasley house, Wizarding World can do what it wants. And if things aren't stacked up, a spot that makes physical sense to non-magical people, so be it. You know, magic will make it happen, kind of thing. But I mean, in terms of physics, you do have to cave to the choices of studs for Lego. I mean, I couldn't just pop the thing off and put it anywhere, because it has to have enough grip that it would actually stay. What do I want to do? Probably that side out. I usually like to look at the pieces and just see which ones have the feel that I want. Like, for example, some of them will have a whole bunch of little mount points where they've built the piece. Other times the Lego wording on it will just be a little too prominent. This one has neither, but just the way it was built, there's little dips and divots and so on, which will determine what I want visible, I guess. It's probably the better way of putting it. Better way of putting it, yes. English is a thing. Or slight bit crooked, but it's not worth pulling off and fixing. Oops, wrong side. Stickers. I love my stickers. I was sorting Lego the other day and I realized I had a piece, I had a spider from one of my previous sets that I had refused to put in the set. Just it negatively affected the playability for me. Not that I play with it much, but I sometimes rearranged the dioramas. So I put it in there, and then I was playing with it and not playing with it, sorry, sorting the extra Lego pieces away the other day, and was digging around. Something just felt weird and prickly on my finger. I had bumped up against the The spider when I squished it against the side of the container, and it briefly gave me a jolt until I realized, idiot, it's just Lego. And I felt really stupid. That's not always the case. Normally Lego doesn't scare me, but yeah. It was more that I hadn't been paying attention, didn't expect to find a Lego spider in there. I didn't think I owned any spares, and well, truthfully, it's not spare. And in a lot of Lego sets, the spiders will be completely like out of the way, so tucked in a corner or something. But this one wasn't, so I chose not to put it into the kit. And yeah, serves me right, I guess. If I put it where it was supposed to be, I wouldn't be bumping into it in the storage box. All right, over top, hold the window. There we go, that's more firm. That would have been step 99 if I'd done them correctly. Okay. 101, what do we want? 2 little flat bits with a single end. Oops. Ow, I just pinched my finger. And then a single with a hangover. Hanging over section, sorry. Not that I drank too much, but hanging over section. Wedge on that. Twist it together. Okay, where does that go? Oh, I see, we've got one for each side. Okay. So rinse and repeat. Repeat. This one. That. A little 1 by 1. And a second piece. And this time the wedge goes the opposite direction. And onto the side. Okay. Just double checking. Looks like I've got all the pieces in there. Pretty basic on this one. We just grab the door and put the door in. Like the window, I was just looking at what was on it, and so we've got a little circular section on this side on the bar. I just decided to hide that inside. And we've got a gold doorknob, which I think is odd, but sure. Why not? Because they can, right? And then just goes on the back side. That's a really cramped cell. Even for a Lego character, that's a cramped cell. Yuck. No wonder they want to rescue him out of there. Corners. Oh, there's 1 and 2. Just a couple little wedges in between. Oh, I just heard the doors again upstairs, so either someone went out to check the trash, would be odd, or more likely, like, you know, an Amazon delivery or something, or more likely the second kid just got home. Now that they're old enough to walk themselves home from school, it sometimes feels weird to just be doing something down here in my little office under the front door area and hear them coming in and going out. Okay, it looks like the picture so far. A pair of wedges on this side and the other. Come on. 1 and 2. Somehow I could totally imagine a kid, if they got their hands on it, you know, they would just like grab this bit and throw it on top. Something random like this, and just like, rocket ship. But that's not what most grown-ups would do. Most grown-ups. Adulting isn't hard. Adulting is just unpleasant. Okay, so now we have a little panel. They just want us to put the spiderweb sticker in, and after that, we are sticker free. That's it. Turn it around, maybe. This is one of those ones where fat fingers don't necessarily work. Okay, there we go. It's crooked, but it's bricks and a spiderweb, so I think, oh, that's gonna bug me. Excuse me just a second. This is definitely going to damage the sticker, but it's really the only way I can think of. So I've just got my crafting blade, and I'm just going to attempt to peel it off again, which, to the horror and chagrin of quote-unquote real Lego fans, who would be saying, "What are you doing? You're ruining everything." I don't care. It's mine. Right? Not just a permit thing. It's a matter of personal... Oh, I cut into that one. Okay. Ruined it more than I expected. I have to be really careful at the corner now, because it's going to tear up in a weird way. Yep. So if I'm not too careful with this sticker, I'll actually shred the whole sticker. Not high on my list. Took a nod on camera, but hey, it happens. Peel, 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 yeah. Oh well. Okay, so you can see that I've destroyed the corner. And it's all shredded wrinkled now. I'm just going to use the back side of the same blade. Can I line this up any better that I would be happier with? Maybe, kind of. Is the spiderweb, I'm okay with it being a mess, but I sort of wished I hadn't ruined it that way. Oh well. I've had worse. I've had far worse. And once again, being a spiderweb on the inside of something, it's not just because it's spiders, but it's a hidden spot. How many people really spend their lives peeling the stickers off things? Normally they go better, actually, when I do that. So that was a bit of a fail. Okay, well, it is what it is. So that one goes up on top. Not too bad. Can we do this camera thing again? My hand? There we go. Okay, so, yeah, it sort of got all beat up. But it's in there. It's in there. Yeah, I know. For a brief second, it's like I'm talking into my arm, which isn't helping anybody. Well, I guess we get to finish off the rocket ship look nonetheless. That was actually just a gut guess. So there's the end of that piece. And I just need to put the torch on. There we go. Once again. Okay. Just setting that piece to the side. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. I'm not particularly sure what this part's going to be for, but apparently it's going to be pretty big because we've got another panel to add to it. Circular section. Oops, one of these first. There, and then the circular section. And as expected, the other piece underneath. Alright, some straight pieces. Flat straights. Oops. 1, 2, and 3. There, now that. And this one. to go the opposite direction. Oops, what did I miss? A little corner bit. Rather literally on the corner. Ah, I see. We have a rotating piece. And then this fits on the whole thing. That's odd. Somehow. Out, you silly thing. I can see that they're going to have this thing spin. Well, maybe not, actually. You. There we go. But sorta spins. I don't quite get what that's about. I think they're doing it just so you can get the tower on an angle. Probably all there is to it. And then, of course, lo and behold, it sits on top. And according to the instructions, that's it. That's all she wrote. So, you can see there's the check mark thing. So supposedly we have received today, we still can't really see it on there, but it looks like we have got ourselves Garrick Ollivander of Ollivander's Wand Shop. And then the second one, more Roby. Oh, okay. It's Nicholas Flamel, which I can see now that I see who it's supposed to be, because I didn't expect that to be in one of the actual Harry Potter related sets. I figured they would hold off until like a Fantastic Beasts related one. But, okay. So that's the top of the kit. Here's the sort of like the inside, and then we'll go around the other way. Oops, I got the stairs. And then here's the front / outside. And then one can play with it in this sort of fashion. So they're showing that you can do different things with it and add different kit sets. So we just did the one in the middle there, 76401. And then the bottom right one, this full screen for a second. Where's the instructions? So, close off. There we are. Okay, so we just built the one in the center at the bottom. And then we've got the one in the bottom right there, which is the washroom for... It's where Hermione sits and she creates Polyjuice Potion. And then on the left was the Dumbledore's office we had built recently. So, I mean, I could build in this manner the design in the background that they've got there. Not going to, not likely, but it is possible. And that's just one possible castle in the background. All right. So that's it for that one. Now, I'm going to take a really short break, but I'm going to put up a poll and see whether or not we continue with anything else or whether we call it here. So let me just get that poll going. Platforms, polls, add. More Lego. Okay, so just throw that up there. Choices. Today. 1083. Oops, I can't spell. IECS. Oh, too long. Okay, so that one. Can't spell. Oops. Okay, or here we go. Oh. So I won't really be taking this long, but there is a poll in there, and let's see if I can do it on the screen live. So I'm going to switch to be right back, take a quick stretch and a bit of a drink, and I will be right with you. So being as I had 0 response to the poll, I think I'm going to give it a call it here and say, yep, thanks, that's it. I think we're good for now. I'll probably put up a community redeem to see if anybody's interested in the Grimold Place. Give it about a month, see how things work. And then in the meantime, we're going to try and find somebody to raid. I don't normally have anybody who's streaming Lego at this time, but there's someone doing Puppers, so P-O-P-R-S, who's building the Lego Harry Potter castle. And they are doing that. So they're English, but they live in America. And they usually do other content, such as something like RuneScape and so on. But today they're doing a Harry Potter castle, so I think we're going to head on over there and see how they're doing. There's no marks as to whether or not they're family friendly or not, so do keep that in mind if it's not your thing. And yeah, going to give an out of the blue raid and see how things go. So let's go with Poppers. All right, so that's where we're headed. Thank you very much for joining me for a random stream. If you're interested in that sort of thing, please do stay alert during regular streams for the Community Points Challenge. Otherwise, yeah, we'll just wish everybody a happy weekend and start the raid and then say our specific things. Let's go with this.
Mischief managed.
All right, so I want to say special thank you to Fantastic Sherlock Fox for dropping by and to Stormy and Benson. We had some great people in here as well as Swanky. So it was a bit of a small stream, but that's okay. It was off the records and just something to do on a Friday afternoon. So yeah, I hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Please be kind to puppers, and we will see you again soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.